In a world where gluten is forbidden, a renegade chef uses this illicit ingredient, which sets off a chain reaction of disastrous events. Noodle monsters attack. Humans are mutated into pasta zombies, and a young woman receives an end-of-the-world makeover. Femininity in the post-apocalypse.
How's it going, my saucy and sinister sisters? You're listening to Femininity in the Post-Apocalypse, a feminist exploration of dystopian media. Thank you so much for being here. I'm your host, Klaire Lockheart. I'm an artist who pushes back against the status quo by creating ridiculously meticulous oil paintings, which means I spend way too much time alone in my studio. The isolation makes me make weird decisions, such as my decision to host a podcast. Speaking of weird, I am sharing an awfully strange movie with my fantastic guest, and then we'll rate it on the Maenad-O-Meter. I'll also have the pleasure of introducing all of you wonderful people to the next recipient of the Honorary Doctor of Dystopian Studies degree from the Unaccredited College of Klaire. My guest is Aaron C Packard, but I'm not going to share that he is a phenomenal photographer, that he recently earned first place in the lifestyle category from American Photographic Artists, nor that the International Photography Awards announced that his work was an official selection. Nope. Instead, I want to reveal that Aaron Packard's greatest talent is eating pasta. You wouldn't believe the amount of fettuccine he can ingest. He can consume an obscene amount of spaghetti, and he can eat so much lasagna he has been banned from 17 states and at least one country. Before Aaron can cut me off, I should probably guide everyone listening to visit Aaron's new website, which is photolab7.com. Photolab number 7 is located in Vermilion, South Dakota, and this is where Aaron develops films, sells disposable cameras, scans negatives, and creates epic prints for other photographers. His website is spelled photolab7.com. My dear friends, please give a warm welcome to Aaron C. Packard.
Hello. So, what country am I banned from?
Oh, I don't know. I was just reading off your Wikipedia biography.
Oh, I don't know who wrote that. Anyways, yes, I definitely do have and have had some pasta eating prowess in my days.
You are a fiend for pasta, and I remember vividly when you and I first started dating, you warned me how much lasagna you could consume. And honestly, I didn't believe you.
Oh, yes. Yeah, when I was a kid, we were visiting people somewhere else in some big city and went to some fancy Italian restaurant. And I don't know, I was probably like 10-ish. And yeah, I ordered the lasagna and the waiter would turn to my mom and was like, our lasagna is sort of a family thing. It's like a pan of lasagna. And my mom was like, yeah, don't worry about it. And I ate all of my lasagna, and I think I finished 2 or 3 other people's meals as well.
I enjoyed how you made sure that city was undisclosed because I'm going to bet it's in one of those places you're banned from. Anyway, Aaron, thank you for taking the time to discuss Pastacolypse with me. However, I'm not going to thank you for finding this movie. If I recall correctly, you discovered it while endlessly scrolling through movies on Tubi a couple years ago.
Yes. Yeah, I might regret that. But anyways.
Aaron, would you mind sharing your reaction to Pastacolypse?
My main reaction is only watch it once. And preferably have a couple of drinks or something because it'll seem kind of novel and cute. and sort of funny, but if you watch it again, yeah, that all disappears completely.
To help refresh our memories of what occurred during the story, and to possibly spare our audience from having to watch it, I'll summarize Pastacolypse. Aaron, I am inviting you to jump in at any time while I relay the plot.
Okay.
Afterwards, we'll discuss the movie, and then we'll rate it on the Maenad-O-Meter.
Maenad-O-Meter.
However, before we regale our wonderful friends with the tale of Pastacolypse, I have to ask you, Aaron, what did you drink to get through this movie?
Oh, what did we drink to get through this movie?
Well, I was trying to suck up to you so we could rewatch this movie to prepare for this discussion. So I made fettuccine Alfredo with zucchini, spinach, and rosemary chicken. And afterwards, we had some delicious dessert.
Oh, yes, yes. We had some sherbet with limoncello.
Yeah, so we had lemon sherbet with a splash of limoncello.
Love that limoncello.
I wonder if the Maenads from Greek mythology would have enjoyed that dessert due to the alcohol content.
I think so.
Since our movie involves Italian food, perhaps I should refer to the Maenads as the Bacchae, since that's what the Romans called them.
Definitely. Maybe. Sure.
Regardless, I bring up these mythological revelers because we'll rate Pastacolypse on the Maenad-O-Meter after we discuss the film.
I am ready, I think. Yes.
In the year 2049. Oh, is that when the Blade Runner sequel takes place?
Oh, I think so.
Oh, I got distracted. Anyway, in the year 2049, cheaply animated woodland creatures are brutally attacked by carnivorous noodles. After the menacing red font title card announces that the movie is called Pastacolypse, a flashback introduces the narrator, Emma Manicotti, the daughter of celebrity chef Alfredo Manicotti. She's a vapid, famous internet social media person, and she tells the tale of when she had to escape her birthday party because noodles attacked and killed everyone.
How she escaped in that dress, I have no idea.
After falling into a quicksand pit of macaroni and cheese, a hillbilly with a gun named Chub. The hillbilly is named Chub, not the gun.
Yes.
Anyway.
Short for chubby.
Anyway, Chub saves her. Then there's another flashback within the first flashback. Alfredo Manicotti and another guy lip sync to opera music in the woods in a scene that lasts a little too long.
Yes, even with the double sunglasses, it's too long.
And then Alfredo receives forbidden gluten in a briefcase from his faux operatic partner.
Gluten.
Next, Alfredo mixes pasta with Emma brand flour he has locked in a safe, which was outlawed because it contains gluten. And then he redundantly adds a drop of gluten from the fiendish-looking bottle in anticipation of cheating during a pasta contest.
Yes, in this world, gluten has been made illegal.
Yes.
How you would get away with getting gluten out of everything, I have no idea. But yes, it is illegal in this society.
He speaks to his dough, like Bob from Bob's Burgers communes with his turkey on Thanksgiving. Emma bursts into the kitchen crying because she can't fit into any of the dresses she bought for her party, despite spending thousands of dollars. She then confronts her father about using the illegal gluten. Emma records a video for the internet, but you can tell that older people wrote and storyboarded this movie because she's using a horizontal format instead of the algorithm appeasing vertical format.
Ah, yes, the first faux pas of this movie. Oh, wait, no, it's not the first. It's not even like the second or third. Anyways, keep going.
Nonetheless, Emma and Alfredo celebrate her birthday on a yacht, and the chef reveals that he bought a beach and is counting on winning the upcoming cooking competition to pay for it. Alfredo then competes in the World Pasta Contest against a literal snowman who simply serves an ice cube.
It looks a little like lasagna. It has layers. I think, I don't know. He was mixing stuff and layering stuff and put it in the freezer. So it must be some sort of lasicicle.
That was about as good as the puns that the writers came up with for
Yes,
this
yes.
movie. Ooh, and as a person who loves puns,
Yes, it
ouch.
got painful.
Mm-hmm. Alfredo could have won, but he gets disqualified for using gluten, which is a federal crime. He then goes on the run for possessing the criminal ingredient. This movie is barely an hour long, but there's an incredibly long breaking news music segment.
Oh, yes. So long.
Everything in this cartoon is illustrated, like the animators were shown just one episode of Archer for reference, but they were paid only a fraction of an immediately canceled Adult Swim cartoon from 2004, plus they were locked in a basement and forced to animate this entire film over a weekend using Windows 95.
Definitely. Clippy was holding the whip.
Oh no. Anyway, Alfredo, who is on the run, enters a magical thrift shop where he acquires a small, bedazzled penne noodle called the Noodle of Destiny.
Yeah, that wasn't a problematic whole scene at all. No.
Yes, he receives it from a weird shopkeeper who rips off his own head to demonstrate his mystical powers.
Yes.
This scene is definitely employing a trope of a person of color whose only purpose is to assist a white protagonist with magic.
Yep.
As a very pale person, I'm not sure I'm allowed to say the exact name of this trope, but I definitely know better than to include it in a movie.
Yes, definitely.
Do you remember what year this movie was made, Aaron?
2 or 3 years ago. So what, like
2023.
Yes, yes, yes.
Emma cries on the phone to her father and explains that the police are there and they're going to lose all their belongings. Alfredo then breaks into the National Gluten Reserve on a tiny bike stolen from a child and confronts Bob and his electric pickle trick.
On his other job, he designed replicants. So,
Oh,
yeah, the actor is J.F. Sebastian from the first Blade Runner movie.
oh, wow. Do you think he was just upset he didn't get to eat any of those delicious noodles in the movie and he thought this would right that wrong in the universe?
Sure.
Alfredo, who totally isn't Master Shake from Aqua Teen Hunger Force, schemes to re-gluten the world. Bob says something dismissive about hippies from California, and I have to wonder whose feelings were hurt so bad about having some menu items available to people who have celiac disease that they wrote an entire movie about it.
Yes, well, it was produced by Fox.
Anyway, Alfredo electrifies the glowing gluten tanks, falls in, and then transmogrifies himself into a pantsless and heinous noodle monster.
Yes, he just flipped his face upon the wall and was done with it.
He mutates Bob into a gluten goblin sidekick, and they unleash an unholy army of noodle demons while yelling the title of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
The noodly army attacks and destroys all humans. The bowtie pasta face hugs people to death, and there are spaghetti zombies, plus various other gluten-based creatures.
Yes, the bow ties, the flying bow ties.
Meanwhile, Emma enters her birthday party wearing the swan dress with a chandelier hat she wore the previous day. But the noodle beasts attack everyone.
Poor horse.
Oh, I forgot about the horse. That was brutal.
It was.
This takes the movie back to the first flashback when Emma meets Chubb. Are you laughing because you're thinking about how great it would be to swim around in a pool of macaroni and cheese?
No, I was just finding it funny the use of the character name Chubby. Yes.
Yeah, there's
Anyways.
a lot of fat shaming in this movie.
Well, I mean, chubby can refer to something else too, so you
Oh, I
never
wasn't
know.
thinking that. I was referring to Emma complaining all her dresses didn't fit. And then, as soon as Alfredo turned into the monster, the first thing he said was that he lost weight.
Oh, that's true.
A woman named Mary swings into the scene on a vine, and this noodle-demic crew goes to the ranch, which is a backwoods boat thing.
Yes, the Tequila Pasta Ranch, I think is what this boat is named. I have no idea why.
The captain of the vessel is named Halfway, and he is a bearded hillbilly with prosthetic limbs, which everyone gives him a hard time about for some reason.
Yes, but he does have lots of useful attachments.
Yes. Gun-toting Chubb, vine-swinging Mary, and Captain Halfway let Emma join their ragtag group of survivalist misfits. They also encounter Kent Trey, who is supposed to be a famous cowboy guy, but the on-screen text informs the audience not to get attached.
He's definitely given a limited amount of time.
Bob and Alfredo have an evil pasta lair, and they want to attack a group of people in San Francisco because of a list of imaginary grievances that make the two of them sound like uninformed elderly people complaining on Facebook.
Yes, yes, they do.
The villains then unleash hordes of flying bow ties that wreak havoc in order to obliterate the planet by mutating animals into pasta beasts and killing humans. Even a giant squid, cobbled together out of various noodle shapes, makes an appearance.
Yes, the pasta kraken, the kraken.
When the movie switches back to Emma's plotline, there's a training montage so Mary can help Emma become self-sufficient, fight gators, and use a lightsaber.
Yeah, they kind of transition through the weapons there pretty interestingly.
Emma then gets a post-apocalyptic makeover complete with a tiny tank top, a tattered skirt, high heels with knives, and green hair.
Yes, and swords.
Oh, yes, swords. After another very long breaking news segment that explains some more plot points, Alfredo reveals more evil plans.
And breaking wind.
Oh.
Sorry.
So the breaking news and breaking wind, is that the joke?
Yeah, something like that.
A scene shows Manicotti's monsters turning abducted humans into an army of spaghetti zombies, even though they're drawn to look exactly the same as the previous spaghetti zombies that didn't contain human parts.
Yeah, I don't understand where this whole transformation thing came from or didn't come from, how it did happen and sometimes didn't happen. They had
Yeah.
brains no matter what, whether they came from a person or not. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Flying shells attack the boat team, and one of the shells bores Chubb in the skull with its rotini tongue.
Yeah, I never thought of it as the rotini tongue, but you are correct.
The cowboy wants to kill Chubb as a precaution in case he turns into a ziti zombie, but Mary treats Chubb's wound by pressing onions to his face.
Yes, and tells the story of taking onion baths when she was a child.
Was that supposed to be a joke?
I don't think so. I think it was, I don't, yeah, I'm not sure.
I can't tell what the people who made this movie thought was absurd, or was a joke, or they were doing seriously.
Right, right. You just can't tell.
Emma boomerangs a sword, which accidentally decapitates the cowboy.
Oops.
Chubb survives the noodle attack despite suffering from an allergic reaction to something, and then everyone is abducted by the Bucatini beasts.
The Bucatini beasts.
Ooh, we should start a band.
Oh yeah, definitely. The Bucatini beasts.
Anyway, the humans are brought into the villain's lair with flour sacks covering their faces. Alfredo monologues how to kill everyone in the survival party until he sees Emma amongst the prisoners.
Oh, I forgot to call you.
She yells at her dad for neglecting to call and for destroying humanity.
But he has other things he's been doing as well.
After separating his daughter from the other humans, Alfredo threatens the trio, but they don't listen to him because he's boring.
Very boring.
The survivalists are about to meet their doom by being cooked into human noodle soup.
With those little star noodles, which I found rather fun. Yes.
How are those noodles not sentient?
I don't know. They weren't. They were just kind of there. So
Emma confronts her dad about his neglect and tells him that she should be more important than winning pasta contests.
Right.
Alfredo threatens to turn Emma into a marinara mutant too, and he sends her to the electric pickle pit.
The pickle costume, which I don't know how that exactly works into the idea, but it is a fun thing. Sure. Why not?
Bob takes an unusually long bathroom break in an attempt to pad the film. And then the surviving people trick him into unleashing them from their imminent soupy death.
Why, yes.
If you were sentenced to death, Aaron, and you could choose the form of execution, would you prefer soupy death or macaroni pit?
That's a tough one. I mean, there's really not much difference. You know, eventually you'd either eat yourself to death, drowned, or asphyxiate. I don't know.
You could use one of the macaroni noodles, like a scuba tube.
Oh, yes, I suppose. Depends on how much cheese was in it, but yes.
I guess if this was your form of execution, you wouldn't have to request a last meal because it's all one and the same.
True, true. I suppose you are right.
Sorry. Mary then retrieves her gun while Chubb runs to the potty. The villainous vermicelli put Emma in a pickle costume and dangle her above a vat of mutating ooze, but they are interrupted by their daily mindfulness meditation, which gives her the chance to unzip the costume, free herself, and do a superhero landing.
Yeah. Convenient zipper. It's right there. Good.
Wasn't there a tag on it that said, unzip here?
Yes, I do believe there were instructions.
Alfredo is attempting to re-gluten the world with gluten missiles, but Emma threatens to stab him with a shoe knife.
And he bought her those shoes, I believe.
Except for she got them on the boat?
I know, but he said he got her those shoes.
There's no consistency within this
None
movie.
whatsoever.
Do you think there was an editor?
I don't remember anywhere in the movie actually seeing a credit for a writer.
It wasn't written by Alan Smithy, or is that the director? Oh no. Alan Spaghetti?
Alan Spaghetti. Yes. Alan Ziti.
Oh no. The humans do some sort of plot, but the pasta kraken swallows Emma.
Yes. Cutting off the head from the inside.
Yes, she immediately defeats it by slicing off its head from inside of it with her sword.
Yes.
Everyone, including Bob, abandons Alfredo on a pasta plane.
Yes, it was a pasta ship. It was kind of a pod with wriggling noodles that perhaps, were its form of
aviation.
Yeah, something. I don't know.
They explode Alfredo. And then they end the movie on some forgettable, quippy one-liner.
Yes.
The post-credit scene shows Noodles floating on the water and predictably reveals that Alfredo survived the explosion.
Oh, no.
The post credits reveal that the newscasters are now living dead linguini and they share a preview for the movie within a movie about farts.
Windbreakers.
Speaking of converting something solid into a gas, Aaron, do you know who else is sublime?
Our sponsors?
Yeah! Femininity in the Post-Apocalypse is brought to you by the Unaccredited College of Klaire. I really should try to do a better job of persuading you to visit patreon.com/Klaire Lockheart so you can check out all the cool artsy resources I made for you. But honestly, I'm terrible at marketing, and I can't tell you what to do. However, if you like my work and want to contribute to this show, please head to patreon.com/Klaire Lockheart, and that's spelled patreon.com/KLAIRE LOCKHEART. Welcome back. I want to share with all our friends listening that the point of femininity in the post-apocalypse is to use an intersectional feminist lens to investigate end-of-the-world media. I especially want to focus on people of marginalized genders and how they are treated within these narratives since they are frequently excluded. I also want to quickly remind everyone listening that it's completely all right if we disagree, because that's part of the fun of discussing the movies we watch. Pastacolypse, like most non-pasta based apocalyptic narratives, had a cast that was mostly masculine, but we need to talk about the feminine characters. Aaron, what did you think of the women in this movie?
Shallow? Almost like they were very thinly drawn, perhaps.
Mmm.
But yeah, so we had Emma and we had Mary. Oh, and there was the voice of Manicotti's evil lair was kind of feminine.
Oh, I forgot about that. I was just thinking
Yes,
of the
yes.
characters that appeared on
I
screen.
was just thinking about that. Anyways, other than just sort of like some random bystanders that got killed by noodles, were there any other women characters? I don't remember.
I counted 4 women characters who had lines compared to the 8 men.
Oh, newscaster. Right. That were the
Yeah.
newscasters. Yes.
There was also a bonus movie within the movie where a girl farted and screamed.
Oh, right, right. I completely forgot about that. The little girl at the beginning who, yes, was eating beans.
As for the characters who spoke, this includes a lady who worked at the coffee shop.
Ah, yes, yes.
There was the news anchor you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
There's Mary the survivalist. The main character is Emma, and I have to ask, what is Emma's job?
Uh, being a wealthy girl or woman, something. I don't know.
She recorded a video of herself, but it wasn't for Facebook because she's not peddling AI slop to scam the elderly,
Mm.
which was already happening in 2023. It's not a video for TikTok because she didn't make it vertical, nor did we see her overlay her footage with text that incorrectly describes point of view.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes, yes.
And it certainly wasn't for Instagram since she isn't simply reposting her TikTok video.
Right.
So
So
it,
this will be, I have a theory because this is in the future, remember?
oh,
So this is a retro social media platform that has gone horizontal.
ah, because I was wondering if it was for YouTube.
Ah,
And I was really wondering if YouTube was still a viable source of income for young people in 2023, but if this is supposed to be taking place in 2049, maybe it comes back?
Maybe. I doubt it. Speaking of social media,
Mm-hmm.
maybe people should go check out Photolab number 7 and see the fun and goofy stuff that our special social media person, Klaire Lockheart, has been creating on that platform.
Which platforms can our friends listening find Photo Lab number 7 on?
Let's see, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. Oh,
Yeah.
and Facebook, I guess. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Photolab is Photolabno7.
Photo Lab number 7. Get the F over here. No, that's not your tagline. I just made that up so people would
Yes,
remember
yes,
how to
yes.
spell it.
F stop and get your film.
I would like to discuss Emma a little more, especially her characterization as a stupid and self-centered young woman. I'm tempted to point out the historic precedent of how American culture inherited thousands of years of patriarchal customs that want women to be cloistered, and the overwhelming rejection of women in public, which stretches back to ancient Greco-Roman times. I want to point out how tired I am of the idea that women who document and share their lives on the internet are characterized as vapid and egotistical, and therefore deserve scorn and harassment. However, I know that as a person with a feminine sounding voice, I am frequently dismissed regardless of how sound my arguments are. So, instead, allow me to quote a respected man who was an English art critic. Aaron, can you guess who I'm going to reference?
Oh, that really exciting guy. Berger?
Yeah, John Berger. It's as though we both earned our MFAs from the same program.
Almost. Oh, wait. Yes, we did.
So, when was the last time you remember reading anything by John Berger?
Grad school.
Oh, wow.
Oh no, I mean I probably have since then, but yeah, it's been a while.
I'm going to share a quote from John Berger's book called Ways of Seeing, which was first published in 1972. He wrote, "A woman must continually watch herself. She is almost continually accompanied by her own image of herself. From earliest childhood, she has been taught and persuaded to survey herself continually. She has to survey everything she is and everything she does because how she appears to others, and ultimately how she appears to men, is of crucial importance for what is normally thought of as the success of her life."
Hmm. And for those who are particularly lazy or don't really want to read The Ways of Seeing by John Berger, there is like an old PBS special where he actually talks the whole thing.
Yeah, is that readily available on YouTube?
I think so. I
I
think it
know
is
we
on
were just
YouTube.
making fun of YouTube, but I think you can find it there.
Yes.
And that gives you visual examples as well.
Yes. And in fact, I think that was done first.
Oh,
And then the
yeah.
book was published after.
Regarding the quote that I just shared, this means that women within Western civilization are raised to always be aware of how they appear to others, particularly men, but they're often criticized for this behavior even though it's mandatory. In this movie, Emma is presented as caring only about her appearance, and we're supposed to look down on her for that.
Yeah, totally.
I want to continue by sharing Berger's writing about the silliness of judging women for their perceived vanity. Berger wrote, "The mirror was often used as a symbol of the vanity of woman. The moralizing, however, was mostly hypocritical." Before I continue with his quote, I'm going to argue that Emma recording herself is an updated version of the archetype of depicting a woman with a mirror. Now, The rest of this passage specifically references paintings of nude women created by men, but I feel that the attitude and theme is relevant to contemporary storytellers who depict and scorn women for looking at representations of themselves, regardless of how they are dressed, whether it's in a mirror or on a video. Berger went on to state, "You painted a naked woman because you enjoyed looking at her. You put a mirror in her hand and called the painting vanity, thus morally condemning the woman whose nakedness you had depicted for your own pleasure. The real function of the mirror was otherwise. It was to make the woman connive in treating herself as, first and foremost, a sight." You're really not surprised I'm bringing Berger into this conversation, are you?
No, not at all. I think it's quite fitting. Yes.
While Emma, fortunately, was dressed in this movie, I feel the sentiment is applicable to a lot of dystopian depictions of women. John Berger wrote Ways of Seeing over 50 years ago, and I'm a little more than disappointed that not much has changed. Even though Emma's doomsday makeover could have been worse, even without having to present to her internet audience, she was drawn in a little tank top, skirt, and high-heeled boots.
They really took her from a spectacle to an object.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And if we really want to be all art theory and critical, who wrote the story, who designed the characters, who animated it? And
Yes.
if we're
Yes.
having men invent women for their own entertainment, I don't think it's very fair to say that, oh, that character is vain.
Yes.
Oof. Am I getting too serious?
I don't know if the movie quite deserves that much seriousness.
Speaking of the art for this movie, I was a little disappointed by the character designs overall. I enjoyed the flying face hugging bow ties or farfalle noodles, but the rest are kind of unidentifiable.
Yeah, pretty much.
I also don't know how you make an entire illustrated movie about pasta without any references to Italian art.
Yeah, there really was none. Even when there was some art shown in the background, it was not Italian art.
Yeah. So, instead of continuing this tirade, should we tell our friends listening how we now have a life-size replica of an Italian Baroque painting in our dining room?
Yes.
About 2 years ago, in an attempt to improve the lighting I use in my own artwork, I wanted to implement chiaroscuro,
Chiaroscuro.
which is essentially like using a spotlight in a dark room. I especially wanted to study one of my favorite artists, Artemisia Gentileschi. Some of our friends listening might be more familiar with Caravaggio.
Yes, Caravaggio.
And Caravaggio pioneered this dramatic lighting technique and was friends with Artemisia's father. Aaron, do you want to share anything about Caravaggio?
Let's see. Well, he, liked to have fun. He was a little affected by the amount of lead in his system. Would, yeet some different foods at people. And oh, he was asshole Batman.
Care to elaborate?
He liked to dress up all in black at night and go pick fights with people.
Yes. Don't know how you have time to pick fights with people when you're busy painting all day, but
If you have that much lead in your system, it's going to kind of make you a little loopy.
a little aggressive, make bad decisions.
Yeah, I think so.
But Artemisia used all those same materials and she didn't fight people. Anyway, I decided the best way to learn how Artemisia Gentileschi created her incredibly dramatic light and shadows was to recreate her painting titled Judith Slaying Holofernes to scale.
Yes, and you did an amazing job.
Oh, thank you. Do you mind describing briefly what that painting looks like?
It's the depiction of, a man being beheaded by, young woman as her maid sort of assists or looks on.
Her painting is about 6.5 feet tall, and it is in the Uffizi in Florence. I was incredibly fortunate to see it in person once, but that was a long time ago. And since I wasn't able to afford to travel to Italy to study it again, instead we visited the Nelson Atkins Museum in Kansas City to view a different painting with the same theme by Artemisia.
This painting is definitely after the beheading has taken place because the young woman is kind of over a candle and such, maybe sneaking somewhere, and the maid is somewhat below, wrapping the head in some fabric.
Yes, and this painting had a lot of that same spotlight quality where the figures are illuminated, but the background is really dark.
Yes.
This painting is called Judith and Her Maidservant with the Head of Holofernes, and it was in an exhibition curated by Amy Marcereau de Gallon. And it was wonderful to learn more about this oil painting, experience it in person, and take a few reference photos so I could work on my reproduction.
Hmm.
And now we have that life-size reproduction of those two women chopping off their enemy's head
Yes, in our dining room.
in our dining room at the head of the table.
Yes.
It makes a great Thanksgiving decoration.
Oh, it does. It does. I love it.
I know this is a bit of a tangent, but if I, a regular nerd with limited resources in rural South Dakota, can figure out how to incorporate a little bit of historic Italian art into my own work, I don't understand how an entire team of writers, designers, and artists failed to do so in their Italian food-based cartoon.
Yes. They could have gone so many different places and done so many different things, but they didn't. So here we are.
I'm sure this movie had a low budget, but my budget is usually $0.
Yeah.
I don't have a corporation that rakes in hundreds of millions of dollars in ad revenue supporting my projects.
Yes. Oh, well.
Before my exasperation gets the better of me, let's rate this film on the Maenad-O-Meter.
The Maenad-O-Meter.
The Maenad-O-Meter?
The manometer?
The Maenad-O-Meter is our feminist rating system that evaluates dystopian media on a scale of 0 to 5 skulls. According to legend, the Maenads occasionally tore their oppressors apart limb from limb, which is why a higher skull count means the movie treats feminine characters well. A low score is if the story ignored or brutalized people of marginalized genders. We'll consider how many women were in Pastacolypse, how they were treated, and how they were presented.
Mm-hmm.
Do you mind if I share first?
Let's do it.
I'm going to give this movie 1.5 skulls.
Sounds generous.
I was initially tempted to give this cartoon a higher rating because there's a feminine protagonist and there's some diversity to the cast, but I don't think the writers use that to their advantage. This movie definitely loses points for leading into the magical black person trope.
Yeah.
About a third of this cast was feminine, but they weren't written very well. No one was written particularly well. At least the women weren't brutalized any worse than the men, since pretty much all of humanity was wiped out due to Chef Alfredo Manicotti. But his daughter Emma had the worst outfits of all the characters.
Yes, yes, indeed.
I'd argue that this movie isn't really satire if it just continues to repeat the same stereotypes found in the majority of doomsday narratives, even if the catalyst was a bejeweled penne noodle. I'm sure I read way too much into Emma's character considering this was only a 70-minute film, but it felt like it was a lot longer. I also can't be the only person who has grown weary of the joke of judging and ridiculing young women when they have an online presence. As you pointed out, Aaron, this is not a movie that should be watched more than once. It's way too easy to pick apart after watching it a second or third time.
Yes, yes.
Aaron, how would you rate Pastacolypse on a scale of 0 to 5 skulls?
I'm not going to be as nice as you. I'm just going to give it one. And even if we weren't considering, what we're really talking about on this, if we were just talking about it as a movie in itself, barely one is what it would get.
But remember, this rating is independent on if we thought the movie was
I know,
successful.
I know, I know, I know. It was just so unsuccessful in so many ways. But yes, definitely, if you do see it, do not see it more than once. And and if you do drink, have a drink beforehand and during, many during. Um, but it was just, the characters were vapid, undeveloped, and just the whole storyline really could have done so many fun things and gone so many fun directions, and they just didn't do it. Instead, they made some puns and fart jokes along with doing some really stereotyped characters.
Puns and fart jokes aren't objectively bad.
No, no, no. And they could have had so much more fun with them.
I know the movie is about pasta destroying the world.
Yes. It's yeah. Anyways, so you basically all the points you said, and probably a few more. But yes, one skull, and I think I'm being generous.
Part of the reason I keep encouraging our friends to join me over at the Unaccredited College of Klaire and Patreon is so they can contribute to the show by sharing what they think of the dystopian media we cover on this program. We should probably thank them for being brave and watching this movie.
Yes, yes, very brave. At least it didn't really take up that much time. I think
Yeah.
our episode here is going to probably be longer than the movie was.
And I don't mean to insult anybody who genuinely enjoyed it either.
No, 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 no.
Anyway, I always enjoy learning how our friends react to the movies we watch, and our wonderful friends at UCK gave Pastacolypse an average of 3.5 skulls.
I bet they only watched it once.
Oh. Aaron, do you think if you had only seen this movie once, you would have given it a higher rating on the Maenad-O-Meter?
Oh, yes, I think so. I mean, watching it multiple times just gave me more time to really pick apart the development.
Also, Aaron, did talking about this movie make you hungry for pasta?
Yes, yes, definitely.
Aaron, thanks for watching Pastacolypse with me. You must be a real gluten for punishment.
Yes, yes, I am.
Before I let you go, Aaron, I want to direct our friends to your new website, photolab7.com, which is spelled with an F
Yes, with an F.
for F stop.
F stop.
So that's photolabno7.com. Just in case our friends haven't been following Photolab number 7 on Instagram, Blue Sky, or TikTok, I'm worried they may have missed all the amazing dinosaur photos and videos we made.
Well, hey, they can still go check them out.
No, no, what I meant to say was I'm worried they may have missed the announcement that you sell and develop film, plus you also make prints in just about any size.
Yes, and we can make super quick ones or really fancy ones.
Very recently, I needed a couple 4x6 prints made, and I got to experience how easy it was for me to send you the pictures from my phone and watch you print them for me.
Yes, just in a matter of minutes.
Well, I caught you when you weren't in the dark room,
Well,
so
that's true. That's
that's
true.
part of the reason that was so fast. But I really hope that our friends who are getting back into physical media and analog photography will drop by the lab in Vermilion so you can print their photos too.
Yes, please stop by.
And speaking of all the incredible work that you do at the lab, I probably should let you get back to it.
I suppose I will just go crawl back into my very dark room.
Well, thank you once again, Aaron. I really appreciate you discussing all of these movies.
Oh, yes, I enjoy it greatly most of the time.
Oh, I just realized I forgot to offer the disclaimer when I did your introduction that the reason you're my favorite guest is because we're married.
Oh, yes, we are married.
Well, on that, I'm going to say goodbye, Aaron. You're wonderful and I love you.
I love you too.
Femininity in the Post-Apocalypse is part of the Department of Dystopian Studies at the Unaccredited College of Klaire. Some of you listening may be suspicious that UCK isn't a real art school at all, and it's simply my academia-themed Patreon page. In response to these outlandish accusations, I can only encourage you to head to patreon.com/Klaire Lockheart to investigate the matter for yourself. Regardless of your conclusion, the fact remains that I'm the founder of UCK, which means that I have the responsibility of delving out honorary doctorates to the most incredible people. My friends, I'm absolutely pleased to introduce you to the next recipient of the Honorary Doctor of Dystopian Studies degree. Sarah Bork is a fabulous professional portrait photographer who has photographed people throughout all the classic passages of life. But she became my hero after I learned that she fought Superman after he hit on her at the Williamstown Theater Festival. Furthermore, I became a fan of Sarah's photography when she submitted work from her Girls Gotta Eat series to the Thunder Domesticity Witness Me art exhibition. To see Sarah's photography or to inquire about hiring her, visit sarahborkhamilton.com, and that's spelled SarahBorkHamilton.com. Welcome to the show, Dr. Sarah Bork.
Doctor, my parents would be so proud.
I am elated that you're here, mostly for the selfish reason to learn more about your Girls Gotta Eat series.
The first thing I'll tell you is to find me on Instagram at Girls Gotta Eat _drag portraits.
Excellent.
There's even more detail there than there is on my website. So Girls Gotta Eat started in the spring of 2018. I had the perfect combination of events with Me Too, when #MeToo happened, and then Donald Trump was elected the first time. And also my eldest child was getting ready to graduate from high school, and she was hurting my feelings a lot. And she was really in her first individuation process. And then my sister-in-law, who's a very conservative person, said the following quote to me: Donald Trump and Harvey Weinstein are just two poor guys who are maligned by the media, and the truth about their good characters will be revealed.
Wow.
That's pretty much everyone's response. She really thought she knew something, didn't she? Well, right after college, I lived in New York. Donald Trump was a businessman in New York at that time. No one thought highly of him back then. That was in the late 80s. I also worked at Sundance for a long time and had to deal with Harvey Weinstein on regular occasion.
Ooh.
And I was fortunate enough to escape any of his untoward advances, but I had heard stories in person from people and I knew things. So, for someone to say something as bold as that was really upsetting for me. And I also was aware that I couldn't just retaliate through the normal channels, like a regular old, Thanksgiving dinner table fight really wasn't going to solve it. And so I pretty much got down on my knees and asked the universe to send me some kind of creative project where I could put my anger about all of these things that would do something positive in the world. And shortly thereafter, I was in a grocery store and I saw what I thought at the time was a couple who was kind of kibitzing over their cold cuts at the deli. They were trying to decide, and they were two very interesting body types. One was tall and slender and perfectly coiffed, and she was wearing high heels and a very tightly fit Betsy Johnson dress. And she had these two Cleopatra eye tattoos between her shoulder blades. And the other person was in like army green shorts with white flip-flops, iridescent painted toenails, a big sloppy t-shirt, and big white Florida sunglasses. And she had eyebrows painted on her forehead that went far up above the sunglasses. And I was fascinated by these two characters. And that kind of gave me a moment of when I had lived in New York in the 80s of being kind of in a bodega where people are private in public. They're sort of having their relationship out in the open. And that has always fascinated me. People in their character have always fascinated me as a photographer. And that was really the beginning of Girls Gotta Eat right there. It turned out that couple, they weren't a couple, they're just old friends, but they were two of the most well-known drag performers in Austin.
Your series of these drag performers just going about the mundane task of shopping, but still presenting as the wonderful characters that they are on stage is incredibly fascinating. And when I first saw your submissions for that Thunder Domesticity show, I immediately had to look up to see your other artwork. And it fills me with such joy that this is a body of work that you have been developing. It is absolutely fantastic.
Well, thank you so much. I really did not know what it would become when I first started it. You know, I was really working from a place of curiosity and also from a place of, I would say, rascalism. Word. I really thought it would be a fun thing to go to the grocery store with drag performers, and I didn't really realize how wonderful it would be in so many ways. So, thank you.
Is there anything else you wanted to share about it?
Well, I'm in the process of kind of completing the Austin, Texas version of Girls Gotta Eat. I've interviewed 73 performers and I've photographed 42 performers, I think now is the number. And I am applying for grants, and my goal is to basically do a final show here in Austin and then take it all to publication for a coffee table book. And I've also started interviewing performers in New York City as well. I would love to continue doing this all over the country. I know there are drag performers all over the country. I just feel like there are people who need to see this work.
That's excellent. I'm really excited that you are actively sharing this work. It's especially important because we're living in a time where drag performers are being condemned, and it's really important that you are uplifting this narrative and sharing it with us so we can celebrate it.
Thank you. I didn't really realize that I was an activist. I mean, I knew I was a feminist, but the activism has come in a whole new way because I've started this project. And it has been so enriching to my life to do this work.
I want to thank you again for joining me. Traditional regular colleges require their honorary doctorate recipients to prepare a long speech, but I respect your time too much to make you do that. You're busy doing real important work, which is why I'm simply going to ask you 5 quick questions so everyone listening will have a chance to get to know you better.
Sounds good.
First of all, what is one of your favorite dystopian movies?
I would have to say that The Fall, although it's not the most dystopian movie in the world, it does take place in an otherworldly like setting. Probably The Fall. It's the most visually splendid film I've ever seen. Well, it was directed by Tarsem Singh, and he directed The Cell. And he financed the fall himself. And the movie has gone through a really sort of long journey of getting to being screened and seen by audiences. It's not a new film now, but it had a long life before it came out to the public. They shot in the most exotic locations. And if you're a visual person in any way, it's just magical. So if you want a visual adventure to start, I highly recommend The Fall.
Thank you. My second question is, how would your style of thinking help you adapt to a post-apocalyptic lifestyle?
Oh, that's a big question. I think that we're already kind of living in an apocalyptic world. And so I will say for myself that I have to think outside the box. My nature is to think outside the box anyway, because, normal society, and I say that with air quotes, what is normal, right? And as artists, I think we're always kind of creating our own realities. And so to me, that's the biggest strength is if you're an out of the box thinker, you're able to create a narrative that helps you survive.
That's certainly helpful so you can handle whatever the universe chooses to throw at you.
Yeah, absolutely. In my mind, the post-apocalyptic world is like a world of sort of desperation and no food and no, like having to invent things out of nothing, that Mad Max world of things, or the Burning Man world of things. So it's a place of great creativity. Since we're on the subject of food with my project, I will say I'm a huge fan of, creative use of available items. And that could be food related, that could be trash related, it could be plastic, it could be whatever.
Excellent. Well, speaking of food, would you rather fight a monster sprung to life from the forgotten leftovers hiding in the back of the fridge, or fight a dragon who built a nest out of 100 cookbooks?
That is a great question. I think that I would make friends with both of those monsters because they are my people. I think they would be my people. 100 cookbooks. If you're making a nest of 100 cookbooks, oh, that's a homemaker that I'm going to get along with very well.
You'll exchange recipes with that dragon.
Oh, yes. That dragon and I will be cooking side by side in our kitchen, in our little pinafore aprons, in our kitchens, exploring different foodie adventures together.
That is perfect. What do you think about when it feels like society is collapsing?
Like every day these days? Yeah. Well, I think about traveling to exotic lands where the water is blue and the sand is, I don't know, any color that it could be. I don't really care. I think about, sometimes I think about buying a gun. I'm not a person that wants to live in fear, so I really resist that idea. And yet there's a sort of practical part of me that, I don't ever imagine like using it in my own home, but when there are things like the shootings at schools and stuff like that, it's just hard as a human being, as a parent, as a woman, to not think about how we might need to defend ourselves because especially also things like ICE. That is something that it's so unreasonable. It forces me to think in a way that I really don't like to, but I think about like, what if I was in a place of fear all the time and how would I react to doing my days in the world? So yeah, I imagine that question is coming from a different place for you now because of what's really actually happening in America.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a big one.
I don't want to leave on such a downer, so my last question is, what advice do you want us to follow so we can maintain our agency?
Number one, first and foremost, vote in all the elections you can possibly vote in. Never miss a primary. Do not miss an election because that's, basically how we got to where we are. And I think that making life choices where you always hold your own agency at the center is really important. And I think that challenging sometimes to know where things are going to lead in your life. And sometimes your agency is maybe not as readily accessed as you might hope. In the end, you're in charge of your life, right? And I think that societally, there's a lot of suppression of women and suppression of people who choose alternative lifestyles. But I really believe your life is what you make it. And if you can envision something, it can happen. There are ways to make things happen. And so, is that my closing line? I think, my closing line is have the difficult conversations with people. And if you're in the midst of unreasonable people, then take a break. Take a break and fortify yourself. Go for a swim, go for a walk, be in nature, do something loving for yourself. Take a hot bath.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Sarah.
Thank you. This has been so wonderful and charming.
Yes, it's an absolute delight that I get to talk to you and learn more about your art and also enjoy a pep talk that I didn't know I needed. Femininity in the Post-Apocalypse was created and edited by me, Klaire Lockheart, whose greatest accomplishment was making a lasagna so massive that I couldn't lift it out of the oven by myself. I also make paintings, and you can check those out on my website, clairelockhart.com, if you want. That's spelled KLAIRELOCKHEART.com. All my admiration goes to Aaron C Packard of Aaron C Packard Productions, not for providing the voiceover work, nor my recording equipment, but for helping lift that gigantic lasagna. You can see his work as a photographer on his website, aaronpackard.com, which is AARONPACKARD.com. Finally, I need to thank you, my amazing friends, for listening.